Welcome to your program Security Watch Africa on this channel, the Africa Independent Television. My name still remains Patrick Abambu. Today we'll be bringing you, as usual, that information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Anywhere it is, we'll bring it to you. Welcome to another episode of the yesterday, Friday, an incident happened the day for yesterday, on Thursday particular, an incident happened that yesterday a media organization published that repentant Boko Haram members went on rampage and set Maiduguri on fire. And that actually brought a lot of question to the issue of the that the members of these Boko Haram people have been surrendering. And people were asking questions, is the issue. And after some of these issues are security related. Yes, there were some repentant Boko Haram members that protested over some issues which they did not accept. And those Boko Haram repentant members were those that were working to ensure that their members who are still in the desert, who are still in the various camps, come out and to follow the path of peace. And they are working with the government and security forces. But some of them have been made, and serious actions will be taken against anyone found wanting in that incident. The fight against terrorism is on course, and all those who are causing problem in our country are being taken care of and kept where they should be. The law is not respect of anybody, and that you have said, I'm not going to do this again. If you are found going back to it, you'll be dealt with. And that is what the situation is. Yes, I have a guest in the studio who has helped us to most of our friends into their fold. But as we speak, when the names of those who were selected came out, some figures were actually not balancing, so to say, because some states did not meet up with the quota. What would you say? Because one agency, Static Sense, actually came up with the figure, and some people had made some comments. And I'm sure you must have seen that
Yes.
that post, and you must have seen the figures. What would be your view in that?
Well, it's very regrettable, unhappiness, and complete unhappiness, especially with the figures from the southern part of Nigeria. It's very, very unfortunate that when the army, when the armed forces seek to co-opt personnel or recruit some of our young men and women into the system to be able to aid the maintenance of security, external and territorial security of Nigeria. The armed forces will have nothing to do but to carry out their screening exercises, and those that qualify, those that pass, they would eventually put them into the system, and that is what has happened. You look at the entire northern region, you look at the northwest, the north central, the northeast, you look at the south-south, you look at the figures from the north central as well, and it seems as though that these are people that are very eager to have their young people dedicated to the service of protecting Nigeria. And then you look at some of the figures from maybe some of the southwestern states and then the southeastern states. There is a whole lot of indifference demonstrated by these regions by reason of the numbers that they have, that they already have.
Yes, because I'm sure we'll have it on the screen. Out of 36 states, we'll have only 25 states meeting the quota. And majorly, just like you pointed out, majorly of these states are from the southwest, northwest, northeast, and north central, and
yes,
some parts of the southwest and south-south, southwest and south-south and southeast seems to be missing totally. But this, it's not just the Nigerian Army or the military. This also has to do with even the police too, because the police, they cried about it. The Police Service Commission was crying, and he's from the south-south, and yet he was saying that the people are not coming out to get enlisted. And yet we're talking about unemployment. I know that these services are voluntary. They are not. They can't
Yes.
conscript people. But is there no need to meet up this figure? Don't you see it as something that is important?
Well, I personally see it as very important, but there is this general feeling in some of these regions that we are unable to meet up with their quota. You know, sometimes they will say, I've had feelers back then, back like 10, 12 years ago, you know, in the heat of the insurgency in the Northeast, and when some of these recruitment exercises were carried out, you'll hear some people saying, so you want us to send our sons and daughters over there to go and die for nothing, you know. So that has been the prevalent mentality, and it has, like you rightly mentioned, sir, even the Nigerian police force has also, you know, sounded alarm as to the very low numbers of applications as well coming in from some of these aforementioned regions. I think it is, for it to change, I think we have to focus on serious re-education of the indigenes of, you know, some of these regions that have severally over the years failed to meet up with their quota.
Yeah, because looking at some of the comments that followed the post online, one Henry Olanipeku was saying, why are the northern states having more than the southern states? You know, that's part of what we're saying.
Yes.
And, you know, some said, someone here is talking about upon all, say, na Yoruba man, the head of army, in no one use in people, putting the northern people instead of the southern people and all that. You can see the views of Nigerians not understanding that this thing is not, they can't conscript, there's no way. Even someone was saying that even those names you see, the people that must have been recruited for the south are even from the north and all that. Why do Nigerians feel this?
Well, it's, you know, reading through those comments, I didn't know whether to be angry or to laugh, because I found it both annoying and hilarious at the same time. Basically, what it means is that Nigerians don't even know the process that is deployed in recruitment. They always think it is conscription. They don't realize that it is, it's advertised.
Yeah.
And then your young people must apply. There are rules to the application process. Now, that you've applied does not mean that you're automatically recruited.
Exactly.
No, you will undergo exercises. Some years back after my NYSC, I was told to apply for, what's it called, the FRSC recruitment exercise. I applied, and I underwent some, not all, some of the exercises. I wrote the exams. I didn't participate in the physical exercise and all of that, where they needed to test the stamina and endurance of some of us. And of course, these are some of the activities that are involved in these exercises. But unfortunately, most of our young people, maybe some of those below the age of 35, do not want to, you know, educate themselves on the fact that this is a recruitment exercise. First, you must apply. If you guys don't apply, then the quota that will come from your state will be zero.
It will be zero.
If there are applications, those that that's applied properly, it's another issue, because, you know, Nigerians, we like taking things for granted. So those that paid attention to the rules, that are applied properly, that had the qualifications that were required, applied properly, they would undergo screening exercises, both mental and physical exercises. So when these exercises are conducted, those that succeed I believe they'll still go through some other exercises, but at the end of the day, it is those that qualified through these processes that are now published as having, you know, succeeded or having passed, met the requirements of this screening. So this is what a lot of Nigerians need to understand, that no, they don't just arbitrarily select from the states and, you know, put them. No, these are people that actually applied, went through the exercises, and qualified.
Okay. Maybe we should assign the roles here. Now, maybe who do you think should educate these people? Who do you think should educate Nigerians on this process?
Of course, the ball will always fall within the court of the National Orientation Agency in partnership with the armed forces. Because if the armed forces cannot unilaterally advertise this without the partnership of the NOA and then most of the major outlets as well, all
media
over
organizations
the news outlets, yes, all over the
even the
country.
Ministry of Information.
Exactly,
too.
the Ministry
They
of
have
Information as
various ministries of information in various states. And I understand that even the Nigerian Army is taking it further by maybe enlisting members of the National Assembly to try to educate their people also about this recruitment.
Well, the challenge is that I believe that, of course, representation is very important, but this is also something very vital that the members of the National Assembly ought to ordinarily have done before some of these things. But, you know, most of them reside here in the FCT, so
Some don't even touch
they
home.
don't touch home. So some of these things don't get to their grassroots, to their support base and all of that. One of the things I would want to suggest is that for exercises like this, the armed forces should engage with you know, the states at state level, advertise at the secondary schools. Let them go around secondary schools and advertise some of these things. Definitely you will see one or two people, young people that would want to, you know, enlist in it.
But again, do you see apathy in the low turnout in some of all these areas?
Yes. That is the right word for it. It's complete indifference. It's complete apathy. You know, having had that mindset, that it has already become a culture that you want us to send our children to go to the north and die. It's not that I was told. I had these things severally, you know, in the southeast especially.
Okay, I hope one day Nigerians will understand that a service to the nation is very, very important.
It is.
If some people are not putting their lives on the line for us to live and be here to talk this, we won't be able to, we won't be at peace. No matter how much we have, you can't be able to enjoy it in peace.
That's the truth.
All right, let's go to another segment of this program now. During our last program, we talked about the Chief of Army Staff first quarter conference that took place, and one of the things in his opening speech, his opening address, he did make a comment. Let's hear it. Listen to what the Chief of Army Staff had to say. Then we'll come back and analyze it.
There's no denying that since we came on board, despite the few apparent challenges and setbacks, we have made considerable progress in stabilizing the country's security. But for our concerted efforts, the insecurity that will have developed across the country is better imagined than experienced. Our continuous injection of trained troops and specialist equipment into the Northeast Theater for specialized operations such as Mountain Sanity 2, Lake Sanity 2, and Desert Sanity 3 have continued to complement efforts to degrade ISWAP JAS terrorist groups by the Theater Command. These efforts have greatly improved the security situation in the Northeast and have expectedly enhanced the trust and confidence of the public towards our troops.
Chief of Army Staff, they are talking about what they have been able to do in the third quarter and last quarter of the year 2023 review, because the conference actually gave room for them to review what they have done. And he talked about some of the operations they have been able to do in the Northeast to ensure that that zone remains peaceful. He talked about the Mountain Sanity 2. He talked about Lake Sanity 2. He talked about Desert Sanity 3. And also, part of the 10 operations was also the operation that took place in the Southeast. In fact, I remember in one of our reviews to say that the Chief of Army Staff making his first operational visit to the Southeast was a main game changer in that operation. What would you say with all this that the armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Army, has been able to do?
One of the things I know is the biggest challenge of the armed forces is information dissemination. Now, I can guarantee you that if you walk the streets of Owerri, if you interview 10 people, you wouldn't have up to one person that is aware of the operations of the Nigerian Army, specifically in the Southeast. He mentioned the different operations in the Northeast, and then my own focus is where I come from, which is the Southeast. That's the Operation Udoka.
Udoka, yeah.
And I can tell you for free, sir, that you would have to think hard to remember the last time we heard about the activities of the IPOB ESN group. You would have to think very, very hard to remember the last time such a thing happened. It seems as though there was a silent movement into the Southeast to eliminate completely and totally decimate the activities and operations of some of these criminals. And like I said, it's unfortunate that the citizens are not aware. No, you won't hear it in any major news media. You won't hear it anywhere. No influencer would carry it, nothing. And I can tell you, we have major influencers from the Southeast. So there is no way that the activities or these operations having resolved a lot of security challenges. There is no way that the indigenes or the citizens would have their faith or confidence in the military boosted because there is no information. There is no news about what's happening. We would have to think hard, like really hard to remember the last time there was an abduction or anything in the Southeast.
In fact, when we heard about that the Southeast, during the Yuletide celebrations, and people thought that everywhere was quiet, no problem. People thought, why? Maybe, because maybe even these criminal gangs have also joined the celebration. But it has come and gone. Easter came, no problem, and everything went for it. And Security Watch, we decided to find out from ourselves. And we thought about going to Owerri, Imo State particularly, from there to cover the Southeast. And we said, okay, we're going to look for a flight that will take us down there. We chose a Monday, which is a sit at home. And when somebody said, Monday, you can't go to the Southeast on Monday. But I'll tell you, we flew on Monday to the Southeast, and we moved around. And it was a morning flight. We moved around. People were moving all about.
Since last year, I've been flying on Mondays.
Returned, unlike before. All flights could not move into the Southeast and all that. But yet, people are going about their normal businesses without any molestation. But Nigerians seem don't understand that some people did the work. And you talked about that maybe information did not get to them about it. But I believe that citizens should also know and acknowledge that some people are doing this work.
Well, you and I know Nigerians. If you don't force something down our throat, it would be, unless it excites us, it would be difficult for us to acknowledge anything. I think that what the Nigerian Army should do or should have done, I think what they should still do, partner with relevant media outlets that would take this news and force it down the throat. It has to be forced down, because if you go to the Southeast, I have family there, and they will tell you Monday sit at home, but they go to work on Monday. Mm-hmm. They go about their businesses on Monday, but they'll be the ones telling you, if you are coming, don't come on Monday. Monday sit at home. But these are people that go to work, go to the offices, go to the market, carry out their activities on Mondays.
Okay.
And so you ask them, so why are you guys still forcing this narrative of Monday insecurity when there is no such thing anymore?
No security anymore. But because everywhere people are doing their businesses.
That's it.
All right. Let's go to the next issue. He talked about the Nigerian Army using civil military cooperation to be able to get the hearts and minds of the people in making sure that there's security for the people. Let's listen to him again. Stop.
In the area of civil-military cooperation, the Nigerian Army has intensified efforts to win the hearts and minds of law-abiding citizens through the conduct of numerous civic activities across the country. These efforts aim to improve the living conditions of the populace, win their trust and confidence in the Nigerian Army, and further complement government's efforts at various levels. We hope to build lasting partnerships and promote peace and prosperity across our host communities and the communities of some of our carefully selected senior officers.
Yeah, welcome back. Yes, you had him there, part of the way. Yes, ordinarily, it's not the Army's responsibility to start building roads, renovating schools, and providing medical support to communities. But they're doing it, like you said, to win the people back, to at least gain some confidence. What would you say to this?
Yeah, I was privileged to attend a CIMIC event last year in Omar here. And I was shocked when I saw the extent of efforts, investments the Nigerian Army had done or had executed in different communities all over Nigeria. And one of the questions I asked one of the officers is, why are Nigerians not aware of these things? So it is no longer news that the Nigerian Army, has invested a lot of effort, time, and energy in their civil military engagements and all of that. But the question still remains, the people are practically unaware of these efforts, of these investments. Yes, you could do it, you could televise it but the fact still remains that the information is not really pervasive. The Army has really done a great deal. The hospitals they've built, the boreholes that they had to sink for communities, even secondary schools, primary schools that they renovated, roads and bridges that they have, executed all over the country. And yet, at the end of the day, the average citizen is unaware of some of these efforts.
I think, by virtue of their training and resources available, they may not be able to always give this information on the regular, but we expect that the government agencies should support them, to ensure that this information gets out. And as much as we get the information here in Security Watch Africa, we also disseminate it.
Yes.
But the much we can do is what we're doing. We thank you so much for joining us, because you have been one that is speaking so much and so well for issues of security. We thank you for your time always. Thank you for your patience with us. Yes, if you are just joining us, this is your program, Security Watch Africa. We'll come to end of another edition this week. Join us again next week when we'll bring you another exciting episode of this program. Until then, follow us on all our social media platforms. Send us your views or your comments on these issues we talked about. Any question you have, send it. We'll take it up with the agency or the individual concerned. Until next week when we'll come your way again, I say thanks for staying tuned and bye for now.